Is that better?
Pull it a little towards me.
Oh, far
there we go.
This way, like that? Is that what you want?
Come in on the back door, bro.
Okay.
We're back to Salt for the Streets podcast.
Not everyone, because there was a woman on the other side of the room who said, Trump's ally, like right after I said that. And when she said that, I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't realize I had misspoken. And I was like, what a clear fucking question I just asked. And because I said Russia, you're going to be a bitch about it.
Normal person's podcast.
Why? Like, why does it have to be like a race issue? Why can't it just be like 50 years ago today, someone stepped on the fucking moon and we put them there?
Upper left.
Yeah.
All right, we're live.
We're gonna get up tight together here. In the
We're gonna get wicked close, baby.
yeah.
So I've never felt this close to you before, Donovan.
No, and that's not. Well, yeah, that's not bad. So
It's not terrible.
here we are. Thank you for joining us. All to the Streets Preshow, episode 67. My name is Donovan.
I'm Colin.
And we are happy you are here. Thank you again for joining us. We are obviously doing the pre-show just a little bit different today. We're both wearing white tees, which is weird.
I'll throw some cami on if you want. I got some.
We'll see what happens. It looks weird. You know what I'm saying?
It does.
So. And I didn't wear a tank top under my shirt today. It's just it's a double white tee day is what I got going.
It better
on
not
there,
get too hot, man. Might have a little wet t-shirt contest.
I
I mean, if that's not a welcome back to the show, guys,
Yes,
I don't know what is.
So again, thank you for joining us. We took a couple weeks off so we could get some stuff done. I couldn't help but notice there's a stunning lack of bear in both of our fridges. So there wasn't a bear that was discovered. It doesn't look like, but you had a good time and you saw some cool shit, right?
Yeah, no, it was good. Actually, I think since we talked about it on the podcast, I'll go ahead and post some of the pictures I took from up on high of where I was on the Salt and the Streets Instagram.
Yeah. Word. So obviously
Fucking gorgeous, though.
Yeah. Where were you at? You said you were like pretty close to Canada, right?
Oh, dude, yeah. I was up in the Colville National Forest, which is about as far northeast as you can go in the state of Washington.
Did you pee in Canada?
No. I mean, it was a little ways away still. We were probably 20 miles, maybe.
All right.
But I mean, I definitely saw
I'll give you
into
a pass
Canada.
this time.
I saw a Canadian military plane that flew over. Which, question mark, why are they in U.S. airspace? What's going on here? Maybe the angle from what I saw them, maybe they were technically in there.
Welcome, Bolsey. Thank you for joining us.
Is it Case Bolsey?
Yep. Case
Oh,
Bolsey.
what up, Case Bowles?
Case Bolsey. Thank you.
Case Bowles, I don't know where you're at or what you're doing, but you better have your fucking hammer on you. You know what I'm talking about.
You know, I asked him about that this week, so that's really funny because he showed us during the draft, right?
Yep.
Like, and I didn't really ask about it because I was doing other shit. But then when I saw him at work this week, I was like, "What is the deal with this hammer?"
Yeah, there you go.
And I guess he got lucky by having the silver one and not one that's like purple with like flowers or some such shit on it, which I thought was pretty funny.
Yeah, because that's traditionally so. Like the way it works
In
is
cowboy times,
Yeah, and like a lot of these little secret society fraternity type things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like an initiation period, and part of your initiation is like you have something, and if it's like a relatively manly fraternity, then it's like frou-frued all to hell to make you super embarrassed, and you have to carry that thing on your person 24/7.
Yeah.
Because if anybody else in the fraternity comes across you at any point, they will challenge you to see where it's at and make sure you have it on them. And if you don't, big problems. Usually a very expensive beer run for a lot of people.
He said it's a bottle. He's got to buy a bottle.
Oh.
And I'm sure that there's some type of like, it's got to be at least this good.
Definitely.
Or else don't even bring that shit over here. But
yeah. I don't want anything unless it's been aged for 10 years. Okay?
Right. But he showed me there's like 3 different screwdrivers in it or something like that. And it seems like it could be a useful tool.
Probably.
The hammer itself is small, but it could be.
Yeah, it's like one of those. God, it sounds so sexist when I say it, but you know what I'm talking about when I say this is those like, the little tiny cute toolkits you can buy for like your wife.
Yes.
Or something like that. And has like this tiny dinky little hammer in it.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. What would you use that for? Hang in a picture frame. I think.
That's the only thing you could use it for. A little tack hammer like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
like it's very, very limited in its use, but I mean, you could beat a motherfucker with it.
We have as I've, built more stuff and like bought all these tools, we have like a couple different sizes of hammers in my house, like 3 or 4, and from a tack hammer all the way to like this framing hammer that I got when I was building the room. And Jordan will hang a picture she's better at hanging shit on the walls than me, so I'm not talking shit. This is not at all. She's good at hanging shit on the walls, but the last time like I've seen her use like my framing hammer for like tiny shit, I'm like, we have a hammer specifically for this job. Like it's what it's made for is this. And she's like, this one works just fine. And I'm like, you got me fucked up. Like, that's crazy. But
that's all right. I ain't going to give you no shade, Jordan. I have one hammer. It's a big ass fucking framing hammer. I have 2 of them, but they're the same size.
Yeah.
I use that shit for pounding in the tiniest little things to the big ones.
It's effective.
She's just got more skill. She can make a giant ass tool work on something small.
She got it done, so that's like all that really matters. But before we continue, I need you to tell everyone here in the pre-show what you ate before I got here today, because all I've seen you drink is beer.
Which at least
delicious.
It's 12:30 this time.
Yes.
What do we drink? We're drinking the super. No,
what
Dusty Fuzz.
Space Fuzz or something
Space
like that.
Fuzz.
I don't remember what they called it, but this is the half and half, and it's fucking delicious. It's like one of my favorite beers. It might be my favorite.
Half Space Dust and half Super Fuzz.
Yeah, it's great.
But I think I had the same breakfast today that I did last time we recorded with those Kodiak Jack's protein cakes.
The man cakes.
Yeah, and some bacon.
Cakes.
Man cakes.
Yeah. I haven't had pancakes in a long time.
Dude, they're so good.
Jordan's a huge pancake fan. Like, loves pancakes.
It's hard for me to eat them a lot because it's like a shit ton of like shitty carbs.
I had
Plus
an experience.
Just douse it in sugar.
Yes. I had an experience when I was a kid where we were staying at a KOA. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, KOA campground.
Yes, yeah, and I don't know what KOA stands for. I don't like off the top of my head.
Yeah,
but, there's like little cabins that you can rent, and you can like park your RV there. You can also just camp there, and there's like a little I think at this one there was like an arcade and a whatever.
Campgrounds of America.
There you go.
Campgrounds with a K.
Camping doesn't have a K in it, right? That's just,
they're really clutch for like, if anyone's interested in like the road trip camping.
Yeah.
So instead of like doing hotels, cause they're scattered through all throughout the country and they're very popular and they have all sorts of utilities and shit you can use.
When
it's
Kaylee
pretty
and
nice.
Scott, when they moved to Florida, they drove there and they stayed at different KOAs across the country on their way to Florida.
Is this going to be their first hurricane in Florida?
Yes.
Oh, dog.
Yes, and I guess when they went to the store, they bought a bunch of like perishable food, like shit that goes in the fridge. And so then they were like, "Oh, we should probably buy non-perishable food."
Yeah.
It's all gone already and they're like, "Oh, we're stupid." Yeah. So anyway,
they'll learn.
We were staying at this KOA. They had a pancake breakfast, and I got these pancakes, and I had to be. I'm sure this isn't correct because we talked about this last time, but I was probably like 8 or 9 years old, and I'm sure that's not like what it was, but
that's funny. Here, pull this thing a little farther out.
That better?
Pull it a little towards me.
Oh, farther
there we go.
This way, like that? Is that what you want?
Come in on the back door, bro.
Okay. And so they had this pancake breakfast, and I got some pancakes, and I don't remember what my beef was, but I didn't like them. I wasn't trying to eat them, and we were camping with my mom and like our family friend Susie and her kids, and fucking Susie made me eat these pancakes. Like I couldn't go outside, I couldn't do anything. I had to stay in this cabin until I ate them, and we like ate breakfast in like a not in our cabin. So she made me bring them back to the cabin for me to sit in there and eat them. And I like went outside and like pretended I was just getting air and like spit them out and stuff like that. And I was fucking 9 years old. So she totally knew what was up and went outside and found them and called out and like all this shit. And for years, I didn't eat pancakes. Like for fucking years, I did not eat them.
Traumatic experience.
Yeah, it was just like so I still don't really fuck with them. Like I will eat them sometimes, but definitely not a plain pancake. Like there's got to be a chocolate chip pancake. I'll fuck up, but I also just don't really fuck with pancakes. And that
you fuck with waffles?
Yeah, all day. I'll fucking eat waffles all the time, but
I love
pancake in particular, I just don't. Someone got us a waffle maker as a wedding present, and we've used it like so much for
waffles are fucking bomb.
Dude. And they're huge fucking waffles that come out of this thing.
Yeah, you don't need more than one.
It's a strong quality waffle maker.
Is it Cuisinart? If not, I'm going to start questioning your wedding guests.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the brand is. Jordan probably knows. She uses it more consistently than I do.
Is it one of those ones that you flip and rotate? Oh, yeah, that's some heavy duty. That's some high quality waffle making.
Yeah, and once you put it in there, you close it, and then you like the handles are like this, and it closes like this, snaps in. Then you know to flip it. There's a little light on there that says, ready. And so you flip it, and you're like, all right, cool.
Fucking Holiday Inn quality, bro.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good pancake. I fuck with it. Alex got us for it. Trent's ex-girlfriend, Alex. I need to know what the brand is, babe. What's the brand of the waffle maker? If it's not Cuisinart, Colin is going to be disappointed in us and in Alex. His approval hinges on what this is.
Such an important factor.
Yes. So I want to talk to you about something that I heard this week and use it as a bridge to kind of discuss a larger opinion that I feel of mine that may not be clear, right?
Okay.
And you can also use it to discuss your opinion of if you want.
The fact that you think Russia's an ally, not an enemy.
God, wasn't that terrible? Wasn't that terrible?
Yeah, we'll talk about that later if you want.
It is a Cuisinart. It is.
High quality. Your friends love you.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yes. Yeah, she does.
The measurement of a friend's love is the dollar amount on a wedding present.
So yeah, we went to. Oh, it is. Just kidding. She said it as Cuisinart. You're right. I fucked up. I didn't read it right. So yeah, we went to the town hall, and I got to ask a question about Russia, and I accidentally called them an ally because I'm a fucking idiot.
Dude, it was so fun. Everybody at least knew what you meant.
Not everyone, because there was a woman on the other side of the room who said, Trump's ally. And like right after I said that. And when she said that, I was like, what the fuck? Because I didn't realize I had misspoken. And I was like, what a clear fucking question I just asked. And because I said Russia, you're going to be a bitch about it. But I am an idiot and I said something wrong. So either way, she still was obviously very like quick to judge, you know.
Excuse you.
But I feel comfortable that Derek Kilmer understood what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but
yeah, because I was sitting up in the front and you guys were kind of standing off in the wings.
Yeah,
that place was packed as shit. And yeah, dude, I had 3 seats saved up front. And then somebody came in and bogarted them when I wasn't paying attention. And then all of a sudden there was like a bunch of random seats missing. And they were like, oh, hey guys, we got 2 empty seats up here. We got over here. We got over here. And I was like, damn.
Assholes.
But nobody ended up sitting directly next to me. I think I scared everybody off. I was all fucking dirty and stinky from working out in the sun all day.
Yeah. People just didn't want to sit next to you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, don't have room for their fellow man.
So, this thing, right? I was listening to probably the fucking New York Times, The Daily, because they have so many fucking ads in that show now, right?
So many. Which is the only way they could stay afloat.
Yeah, it's really irritating.
A subscription call out every single episode now.
Every episode.
Yep.
So one of the things I heard was a ad for a show on Fox, right? And I don't even remember what the name of the show is, but in the show, one of the things they used as a selling point was they had the largest trans cast in television history. Like, that was a reason that you should watch this show. Yes. And so I was discussing it with Casey, and I was like, so this bothers me, right? Not because, and this is what I want to use to clarify, right? Because it's like a disapproval of a phrase like that will instantly turn someone to be like, oh, well, you hate trans people. And I don't, right? And I don't want to use like I have black friends thing, like I got family members that are gay. I used to go to gay pride all the time when I was a kid. Like, I don't have even.
You don't judge people based off of stupid, little things that
fucking matter,
don't matter,
right? To the point that I'd like it, if not even to the point, but like it, I'm not someone who's gonna not address someone by like their preferred pronoun. If someone's like, hey, like I identify as a woman, that's what's up, like especially if you have transitioned to the opposite sex. Like, I'm not gonna continue to fucking call you a man because that makes you a dick, right? It's to like
get you kicked off Twitter, man. You're dead naming.
It just like if you do it in a personal interaction with someone where a woman or a man has transitioned to a woman fully, and you're still going to call that person a man, you're an asshole. Like you're just a dick, and like that's not the time. I don't feel like that's the time to prove a point on like an ideological standpoint of like, oh, I don't agree with what you're doing, right? So I think it makes you an asshole. My problem with this is that I so much don't care that I don't want this to be a selling point for your show. It makes me not want to watch your show because I don't give a fuck, right? If I'm watching it and I notice there seems to be a shitload of trans people on this show, you know, and I like look it up on the internet and there's someone has written an article and they're like, hey, you know, this is like, there's the most trans people in this cast of any show in history. Like, well, that's kind of rad, you know, that's like, that they did that. But I don't want that to be a reason that you're like, you should watch this show because we have the most trans people. And if you want to support trans people, you should watch the show, you know? And I don't think that's not what they said, you know, but that's what it seems like they're implying is like, if, you know, support the trans community by watching this show. And
it's on the like FX network.
FX, that's what it is. Yeah. And I just don't like that. You know, I just don't like that. You know, the only point of contention that I feel, and we generally agree on this type of deal, is the only point of contention I reach in like a trans community type of issue is when you're talking about like people playing in different sports and stuff like that, and like combat sports and like shit like that. Like that's where we run into an issue, you know, where I feel like biology matters in this discussion. But in an everyday interaction between people and individuals, it bears no relevance on anything
just
that's
don't be an
happen.
asshole.
No, it's only when we're talking about, you know what I'm saying, where biology could play a factor in this, where I'm going to have any type of issue with what's going on, you know. Past that, it's not my fucking business. I don't give a shit, you know? And I feel like, because we don't discuss this in depth very often. And so I just, after talking to Casey about this, maybe concerned isn't the right issue, but was aware that maybe my and our full views on this topic were not clear, you know? Like, we're not a person that's like, fuck you, you're a woman, don't even call yourself a man because that's bullshit. Like, we're not those guys, you know?
Yeah.
It's just shit like this that's like, why? You know, the same thing with when the New York Times did the piece on going to the moon, you know? Why? Like, why does it have to be like a race issue? Why can't it just be like 50 years ago today, someone stepped on the fucking moon and we put them there, you know? Why does it have to be about how someone else got fucked over who's in, you know what I'm saying, like a different community? I don't like that. I don't like the intersectional promotion of this show. Like
that's what it is.
Yeah, it's not relevant to me. It is not relevant, and I don't want that to be something that's made relevant. You know, like I just don't.
I don't want to go watch a show because it has, coincidentally or on purpose or whatever, if it has the largest trans cast out there, I want to watch a show if it's interesting to me. You know, the show I think focuses very heavily on like trans issues and stuff like that. So it's a big aspect of the show.
Aptly casted.
But once you go intersectional with it like that, I get immediately turned off.
Right.
I mean, and I wouldn't watch this show just because it's just not my gig. It's a American drama television show about, I think, what is it, in the 1980s.
What's it about? Does it say?
Let's see here. Let's just see what Wikipedia says. Pose is an American drama television series from New York City, African American and Latino, LGBTQ, and gender nonconformist ballroom culture scene in the 1980s.
Ballroom culture.
So this is New York City's African American and Latino, LGBTQ, and gender nonconformist ballroom culture.
That's very specific.
That's very specific.
Which is fine. Like, I'm not like, but that's, you know. So it's
very
aptly
specific.
Casted show, right? If that's what it's about, then aptly casted.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't like that that's a selling point of what's going on. You know? Because that to me doesn't seem
you sell it as,
you know?
You sell it as a show about, you know, exactly those demographics that we talked about. I'm not going to say it because it's a fucking mouthful, but you know, you market it as that because that's what it's about. You don't have to brag about the fact that it's got the biggest trans cast out there. I mean, I would kind of assume, but at the end of the day,
right.
I don't necessarily care. If it's got a bunch of great actors and actresses in it that play their roles well and make good drama, and you know, which is, I mean, good drama shows, I mean, you have to have very good actors and actresses. I don't necessarily care that they are members of that same community themselves. I mean, that's great. I just don't get intersectional with it. I don't need that
Right.
as a selling point.
I ran into a similar issue when they were talking about when Scarlett Johansson didn't get to be in that movie because she wasn't trans. Whatever the movie was, I don't remember. They're not making it anymore.
Yeah.
But then also,
or ScarJo not being Asian in Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, when they were casting the new Batgirl and they were like making sure they picked a Jewish girl and like all this shit, and it was like an uproar and like a whole deal, right? And so that really frustrated me because that doesn't seem relevant to me, right? Because, and this is maybe only an example that only someone who fucking gives a shit about comic books would care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they cast Ellen Page as Kitty Pryde in all these different X-Men movies, Kitty Pryde is Jewish. Ellen Page is not Jewish. So that didn't matter 10 years ago that we were casting people who weren't Jewish to play Jewish roles equivalent because they're both comic book characters, right? Regardless of whether Batgirl's going to have her own fucking movie or Ellen Page, Kitty Pryde is just a supporting character in several different X-Men movies.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck does it matter? Because 10 years ago it didn't. Like, so why are we talking about this? You know?
Because of the systematic discrimination
you know what I'm
of
saying?
that community.
And so
it only makes sense to you if you view the world through an intersectional lens.
It's so strange. Like, and this isn't like a, like, remember the good old days, like, but there's some shit that, like, it is not a problem. And it's not just everything doesn't become a problem just because 10 years has gone by and our thinking has grown and we're like, oh, we went to college now. So now we see that this is going to be a problem. We're consuming this. And I don't want to see someone who's not Jewish play a Jewish superhero, Why the fuck does it matter?
Yeah,
why the fuck does it matter? I just don't.
I mean, this is not to undermine the legitimate shit show that is Hollywood and how they've been running things for decades, which I think everybody at this point has realized is a massive, disgusting cesspool of, hate and discrimination and power and this whole thing, from Harvey Weinstein down to, not casting specific people because of their race.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. John Wayne did a movie called Genghis Khan, which is one of his worst movies ever, by the way. But, and one of my favorite John Wayne movies is it's about communist China and stuff like that. And, he plays a white guy, but one of the main, like, elders of this Chinese village is also played by a white guy who's, like, super, like, in today's modern world would seem as, like, super racist in the way he was, like, his character was portrayed. He had the squint eyes and, they colored his skin a different color and all this stuff. It's still a good movie. It doesn't change the fact that it's a good movie. To me, it is no different, at least for me, because I don't want to use that I don't see color type of thing. But I don't give a shit about any of that. I just care about the end product. I don't care that Tom Cruise is an insane fucking Scientologist.
Yeah.
I still love Tom Cruise movies. You know what I mean? I'm not going to stop it because he's a whack job who I think is insane and part of this super corrupt, disgusting organization.
He is crazy.
But he still makes good movies. I don't care, And if Pose was up my TV alley, if it wasn't like some, American drama, which I just don't have a care for, there would be nothing to stop me from watching it if it had a fully, trans in real life cast versus a trans on screen cast. If it's a good show, it's a good show. I don't really care. I don't concern myself with the inner workings of the fucked up cesspool that is Hollywood and how they push their products out.
It's a good thing that they made Tropic Thunder when they did, because there's no way you could make it now and have Robert Downey Jr. even jokingly play a character who's going to be in blackface the whole movie.
Dude.
Like, there's no way. There's no fucking way that you could make that, because...
And it's such a good movie.
So let me ask you about this, right? Because I'm not sure how I feel about it, but there was going to be a movie that was going to come out about liberal people who capture conservative people
and start offing them,
right? Yeah. So then they canceled the release of this movie after the shootings in El Paso and shit. And I've, to like a certain degree, can understand why that would be the case. But at the same time, in the same way that I don't think that individual people's rhetoric is like fueling this, I don't think that this movie is going to, you know, then don't see it, you know, like then don't, or I don't know. Cause well, like, what are you going to, you're going to sit on it for a year? You're going to like, what?
Yeah.
It looked like a good movie to me. It looked like that's a
good old crappy Purge type movie.
An
You know, just a
interesting premise.
fucking massive, just slaying movie. You know what I mean?
Well, and I didn't realize we went and saw a movie, and I didn't realize we saw the trailer for that, and like before that happened, obviously. And the trailer to me didn't deliver that it was liberals hunting conservatives. Like it just looked like it was people hunting people. It wasn't displayed in a way that this is.
Your fucking mind's just not intersectional enough to see that.
Yeah. And
you're just so naturally discriminatory, Donovan.
So when I heard that was the case, I was like, what do you mean? I was like, that didn't seem like what was going to happen. But yeah, I'd like to see the movie released, you know. Like I said, I understand to a certain degree, like the, you know, sensitivity or to be, I don't mean like the sensitivity of people. I mean to be sensitive to people, you know, so as to not. But I also just don't think that it's that big of a deal personally.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Did you watch Dave Chappelle's new stand-up special?
No, but I seen that it was on there.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And I saw a clip from it where he was talking about the crowd and just people's like sensitivity, and he like how fans are the worst, you know, and like you just it's like you guys are assholes. Yeah. And I thought that was really interesting, and I think Ben Shapiro talked about that a little bit this week. That
I've been trying to avoid the Shapiro for a week.
Oh, he was talking about it in the realm of the media, though. Like the media going back in people's tweet histories and stuff and finding stuff from years and years ago, like Kevin Hart and Kyle Kashuv and stuff like that, that it's like getting people, they're stopping them from getting hosting gigs and like going to school in, you know, in the realm of Kyle Kashuv. And I just think that's really weird, you know? When we started this, and I probably talked about this, but when we started this, I went through my Instagram and changed like some stuff, you know, some captions and whatever that I had put down there. But I was like, I'm not going through my Twitter because it's not worth my time. Like I've said so much shit that could be misinterpreted and just interpreted poorly that I'm not going to bother to go back through it and take everything down, you know? So when the day comes that people really know who we are, we're going to have a whole storm. Like you're going to have to defend me in the public for like probably several months of people just being like, hey, this guy said some racist shit on his Twitter one time. What do you think about that? You know, your co-host is a fucking bigot. Like, what do you think?
Be like news fucking flash, dude.
Yeah. It's going to be a rough couple months where, you know, I'm going to have to be like, listen, 90% of these are song lyrics to rap songs, you fucks. Like, if you type them into Google, you'll see it. But, yeah, no, there's going to be a whole period of time where people are calling us racist. Just
I am so opposed to holding people, you know, to the stand. It's what drives me nuts about Shapiro and how he always talks about Bernie Sanders back in, like, the fucking 70s.
Yeah.
Hanging out in, you know, communist Russia and all this shit. It's like... Is he that way now? Does he think that way now? Then no, I don't care then. Why are we bringing this up? I understand. Okay. Yeah, I can understand he did that in the past, and I will keep that as context in the future.
Right.
But realistically, I'm not going to judge him for something he did decades ago or even a year ago.
If those same views haven't been shared since then, I'm not going to apply them to him now, you know?
No. I mean, and even as far back as a year ago or 6 months ago, I mean, if there's one thing I've learned from doing this for as long as we've done it, it is very simple and easy to change your opinion on something. Yeah. You discover new information, you go, oh, I was fucking wrong about that.
Right.
Moving on.
Right.
Now I'm glad I know. You know, and you shouldn't judge somebody for something that they didn't know back in the day. It's not a thing.
So this is this is a great segue. So is Sean Connery still alive? Do you know?
Yes.
He is still alive.
Oh god.
Have you look now, ever
it's getting scary.
That audio of him and Barbara Walters when she asked him about, like, you know, you said once that it was like okay to smack a woman, and he was like, well, yeah, you know, like if you've told her once and like she wants to have the last word, and you know, you don't want to tell her twice or whatever. So God. Have you ever heard that audio of him?
Wikipedia saying he's alive. He's 89 years old.
Jesus Christ.
So this was what's up. Barbara Walters?
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can find that.
Yeah, she interviewed him and asked him about,
Oh!
Yeah, it's just, there you go.
I feel like I have seen this back in the day.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I can't because I got...
Anyway.
When I run voice meter, it jacks things up.
It's worth checking out. But I just was thinking about that. I don't remember why I was thinking about it, but sometimes in the 2 weeks that we had off, it was like, how interesting, and people still love Sean Connery. Like, fucked up thing. And everyone at the time was like, what the fuck? I can't believe he said that. People still love Sean Connery.
It's that separation of celebrity, man.
Yeah.
It's like it goes... The lines are so blurred nowadays. It's hard.
The things people will accept from people they love.
But yeah, I love Sean Connery because of his movies, right? Because I don't know
not
Sean
because
Connery.
Of his marital views.
Yeah, I have no concept of what he is in his private life because he doesn't post it on fucking Twitter and Instagram 24/7.
Good for him.
This is it's the old school stars where you didn't know anything about their lives at all. Maybe you knew what part of Hollywood they lived or wherever the fuck they're from. Or you knew little bits and pieces, but you just knew them from whatever kind of product that they were in at the end. Whether, same with rock stars and shit like that. And we just have such a different relationship with celebrity nowadays. It's, I fucking love Sean Connery. And I will not, I mean, The Rock is a great movie. So good. Indiana Jones and... The Last Crusade. There we go. I was like, oh, God.
Solid.
I mean, all of his shit, man. He's an amazing actor and has been forever.
It's like I watched a Drunk History once and then after this, we're going to go and we're going to hit on the regular show.
Yep.
Because the fucking Ducks play today. Auburn, 4:30.
Go Beavers.
My Uncle fuck you. My Uncle Brico was watching. I don't know if you're still watching, dog. But I'm thinking about you. I'm with everybody out here in Oregon today. 4:30. Cody is coming over. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to eat some food and then probably go to the Mexican place for the second half.
There you go.
And drink some draft beers. See if Carlos will fucking give me a half and half.
Oh, yeah.
Because he probably will.
Oh, he totally will.
Saw Drunk History once about Clark Gable, right? Because Clark Gable was a huge actor and then World War II pops up and he's fucking signs up to join the military and does a bunch of combat missions and then comes
Clark
back.
Gable is a fucking man.
Badass, right? And the media is up his ass so bad that he's like, listen, what I'm going to do, I'm going to shave my face on camera. Let you guys check it out. But then you got to fuck off and leave me alone and let me do my shit.
Yeah, because he was very famous for his mustache.
Yeah.
It was a big deal back then.
Another reason I want to talk about this, last November, when I grow my mustache, right? Deep into November, Jordan's stepdad, Leif, his mom, Barb, told me that I looked like Clark Gable. And I was like, that might be the best compliment anyone has ever given me. So, yeah. I got a Clark Gable. Yeah, I was like, that's what's up. Yeah, and that's badass, There's it's the same deal with when we were talking about Neil Armstrong. It's just a different caliber of dude. It's a whole nother level of person that's like,
oh yeah,
no. I was the first person to step on the moon, and I'm going to be the first person to step on the moon. But don't you put my fucking name on that patch. Don't you put my fucking name on that patch. I'm going to sue my barber for selling my hair, and I'm going to make him donate the fucking money. All this shit. It's just, who does that? You know, who the fuck does that?
Different breed of human.
It's strange. They
don't make them like that, like the way they used to anymore.
Right. Because people accomplish shit like that all the time, but rarely are they humble like that anymore. People are humble. They're like, oh no, everyone took a part in this movie. It was a great movie and everyone took a part. Clark Gable was like, okay, everyone fuck off. I'm trying to go kill some fucking Nazis and I want everyone to leave me alone because I just want to do my duty. So I'm going to shave off this mustache that everyone loves so much so I can do my own shit. And that's it. Yep. After that,
I'm going to go serve my country and the world for a little while, and then I'll be back.
Yep. I just think that that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool.
He's got good movies.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. This was a fantastic pre-show number 67 on our Facebook at Salt of the Streets. We have our Instagram at Salt of the Streets. We have our YouTube at Salt of the Streets, where you can find this video later next week. We have our own personal social medias. They are not private, so I almost said private, but they're not. Personal social medias. I am at Salt of the Street on Twitter and at alpaca_Donovan on Instagram. He is at Big Bird Offie on both of those things. Find everything on saltofthestreets.com. It's all there. We do it all the time. It's fantastic. That's it. Watch out for this episode on Monday. You can find our podcast anywhere that you can find a podcast. YouTube, Salt of the Streets, fucking Peep It. Go drink some beers. Go Ducks. What?
Go Beavers.